Hello, friends. It's almost midnight, but I'm excited to bring you this video on something really interesting: Apex Managed Sharing in Salesforce. Tonight, we will break down the essentials of Apex Managed Sharing, with sharing and without sharing. Last but not the least, secure Apex code with user mode. Stick around until the end for a detailed demonstration. Let's get started then. So, what is Apex Managed Sharing? We all know that we can share records with different users using role hierarchy, sharing rule, manual share, etc. If you are not familiar with all those concepts, I have already uploaded video for those. Please go through those videos. Today, we are going to discuss how programmatically using Apex, developers can share the record with a user or a group. What does that mean? Let's see it in action. So I have already logged in into my Salesforce account. So this is Salesforce org. So to show like how this Apex managed sharing work, like programmatically how we can share record with user, I have created a custom object called Apex managed sharing demo. So whenever we create a custom object like this, and I keep the sharing setting for this particular object as private. And also with this particular custom object created, Salesforce will automatically create another object called Apex Manage Sharing Demo Share object. So whenever a user got access in record in any of the record of this particular object, a row will be created for that particular user on the share object. This particular share object is going to maintain the record access for all the user. Now suppose I have created this particular record in Apex Manage Sharing Demo object. So this is a like simple record. It has an Apex Manage Sharing name, that is a uh, auto number field, and I have created a description. Now let's see in the share record who has access on this uh, particular data. So if I click on sharing, then from here I'm able to see only one user have access, who is the owner of the record. Now let me go to the query, and this is the share object Apex Manage Sharing Demo underscore underscore share. So in this particular object, if I export it, then I'm able to see that only one user, who is the owner of this particular record, that is this one, have access. So this is the record, this is the description that we have provided, and only one user have access on this particular record. Why they have access? That you can find on the row cause, because they are the owner of this particular record. Now I want a particular user called Sarah. I want to give her access on this record programmatically using Apex. So how we can do that one? For that I have created a small class with a method. So in this particular method, what I am doing, I am querying the particular record that I have created on Apex Managed Sharing Demo object, and I want to provide access to Sarah. So I queried the same user. Now what I will do, in the Apex Manage Sharing Demo share object, I am going to create a record for Sarah. So here the parent ID is this one, in which record I want to provide the access. Access level, I can provide read or I can provide edit for read write access, and which to which user or group I want to provide the access, that is also I have mentioned here. Now there is one more thing, row cause, that I have shown you in the query, that whoever is the owner, we provide then the row cause will be set by Salesforce automatically as owner. If we share it manually, then row cause will come as manual. Likewise, Salesforce maintains some row cause, like it will help us to identify from where that particular user got access in this particular record. In case of Apex managed sharing, we can create our own row cause, and that will be visible in the share record object. So how we can create a row cause? To create a row cause, go to custom object. In the custom object, in the classic view, you will able to see Apex sharing reason. If you go there and click on new, here you can able to provide whatever label you want and the name. So once you provide a meaningful label and name, then you can use the same in your Apex class. So I have created a Apex sharing reason called for demo purpose, and I am using that in my class. See, for demo purpose, that is the API name, and then you need to append underscore underscore C. How you will able to get that one? You need to use schema class to get the sharing row cause, Apex sharing reason. And then I provide that in row cause column. Now let me insert it and let's see what happened. So we have seen on this particular record only one user have access. We exported the same and got only one user have access. Now let me run this particular class. So it ran successfully. Now let me export it again. See, Sarah got access, and why she got access? Whatever row cause developer has created, that is like manual thing, whatever they have created, custom row cause, that is updated on this row cause column. And I have provided her read access, so that's why access level is coming as read. Now I go to the same object and I refresh it, and I will check the sharing. What in the sharing, whether it is updated or not. It should update it. So let's double check that one. So I click on sharing and I click on edit. So now I am able to see Sarah got read only access on this particular sharing demo record. So I click on cancel. Now one thing to note, suppose I have provided read access, now I want to provide a write access to Sarah. Then what I need to do? So I thought of just change it to edit, and let's insert a new record. I mean a new row on that particular object. So I will, for that one, will mark this one, will copy this. So this is the record. So what will happen? Let's see whether it is going to create a new row or whether it is going to update the same row with edit access. Let's check that one, though we have used insert statement here. So I click on debug and I click on execute highlight. So I have export it again. Okay. Now I exported the access level change to edit for Sarah because I have inserted the edit access level. Now I have exported, right? Exported and it got access. Now let's see whether the ID is created, a new ID is created, the old ID has been deleted or not. So let me paste it. See, the same record is updated with edit access level, though we have used insert statement, but still the same record is updated with edit access. If we do again change the edit access to read access, the same record will updated as read and the row cause will be same for this particular user. So that is how programmatically you can share data to a particular user. Okay, now I want to discuss some more thing for this Apex Managed Sharing. So what will happen uh, when we change our sharing, mainly the OWD, when we change OWD, Salesforce automatically recalculate all the sharing. But if we want to write our own recalculation logic for Apex Managed Sharing for a particular custom object, we can very well do that one. How we can able to do that one? We need to go to this particular object, and here we have this particular option, that is Apex Sharing Recalculation. So in the Apex Sharing Recalculation, what we can do, we can create an Apex class beforehand, which is needs to be a batch class. That is a class that must implement the database.batchable interface. And once we created that class and write our all the recalculation logic, we can uh, we can attach that class for this particular object, and from here we can able to write our own recalculation logic and able to run it. So that is one thing. For uh, different sharing, like if it is a manual sharing, suppose I share a record manually with a particular user. Now, if the owner change, or like via team I provided access to a particular user, if the record owner got changed, in that case, sometime it will not retain the access that owner has provided to this particular record. So when the access will be retained, when it is not retained, that I have explained in my previous video of Teams. You can check that one. But in case of Apex sharing, if we change the owner, still the other user, whosoever get the access on that particular record via Apex Managed Sharing, means via programmatically using code, that record access will be retained by Salesforce. Let me show you. Like in this case, owner is this particular user and Sarah has access on this account, right? We have shown you that previously. Now let me change the owner to someone else. Suppose this one. And I click on change owner. So now let me check that one whether Sarah's access retained or not. So I will click on export and I can see Sarah's access retained. It does not revoked the access from this particular record. So that is one thing, like that is a good thing, that we can retain the access of user if we use Apex Managed Sharing. This particular Apex Managed Sharing reason and the recalculation class is only available for custom object. It's not available for Salesforce standard object. So that is all about how Apex manage sharing, how programmatically you can share a record using Apex and different user can able to get the access. Now let me show you what is the difference between with sharing, without sharing and inheritance sharing. And after that we'll discuss what is user mode that has been introduced by Salesforce recently. So to check what is with sharing, without sharing, let's navigate to account object. Account. Okay. So I have this particular account, and as I am admin, so I'm able to see all the accounts. Now let me log in. I have already logged in with an user called Sarah, and there we can see what access she has on accounts. So she has access on two account only. Okay, three account. A Jenny Point, Edge Communication, and this one. Now let's check what is with sharing, without sharing. So I created an LWC component for this one to show you what does it mean with sharing, without sharing. Okay. So she has access on this Jenny point. So it does not matter whether we are going to use with sharing or without sharing, because in all cases she will get the data. So if I click on Jenny point and I click on without sharing, I'm able to see the data. Now if I click on with sharing, I'm able to see the data. If I select inherited without sharing, same thing. Click on this one, same thing. So in every cases, with sharing, without sharing and inherited sharing, I am able to see the details of Jenny point. Now let's check if we want to get information about a particular object, about a particular account that she does not have access on, then how that works. So Burlington Textile Corporation of India, in this one, she does not have access because she has access on only these three account. So let me check. So I put the account name here and I will click on without sharing. So what is mean by without sharing? Without sharing means it will not enforce sharing rule. Whether you have data or not, Apex code will always going to run in system mode. It will not enforce the sharing rule. So that's why if though she doesn't have access on this Burlington Textile Corporation of America, but still as we are using without sharing, she will able to see the account details. Let's check that one. Without sharing, she is able to check that one. Right. Now, let me take another account because this account does not have account description. So let me take something else. Maybe this one. We can check whether this one has any description or not. Okay, this one has an description. So let me test with this one because Sarah doesn't have access on this one. So that we can also check from here who has access on this particular account. Only SFDC Prayoga have access. So we are good to go to test with this one. Okay. So Without sharing, she is able to see all the data of this particular account, though she doesn't have access. So how she is able to view this particular detail? So let me go to this without sharing scenario class. So I have created this class which on click of this particular button in the backend. So if I go to this without sharing this one, I'm calling this particular JS method, and inside that JS method I'm calling this account details. This account detail is nothing but this without sharing scenario, that is this class dot get account details. So without sharing scenario get account details. So this is a simple one. I am querying the account where name is like whatever we are passing it from the front end, and it is passing the data. The main thing here to notice is this keyword without sharing. If we provide without sharing in a class, then the class will run in a system mode and not in a user mode. Means it will not enforce the sharing rules. Okay, so that's why she is able to view this particular account details. Now, let's check with the with sharing whether she is able to view that or not. So, I will click on with sharing. See, here as she does not have access on that particular account, so that's why we are getting no record to display. So, in the backend, what is happening? If I go to my HTML, I have used handle with sharing, and if I go to the JS handle with sharing, here I am calling this particular method. This particular method is nothing but with sharing scenario class, that is this one dot get account details. It's the same method, everything is same, nothing is different. The only difference is with sharing. This is the keyword. This is the keyword which is enforcing the sharing rule for that particular user. So that is the difference between without sharing and with sharing. Now, what is the difference between inherited sharing? So for inherited sharing, I created a class called inherited sharing scenario. And in this particular case, I created the same method. I am querying the account. I query the account details and I return it. But I uses inherited sharing keyword. So what is the difference between inherited sharing keyword and other two? So inherited sharing keyword is like that when you call that particular class from any other class. Like I am calling this class from without sharing class. This is the one. And also I'm so when I call it from without sharing, then this class, this inherited sharing scenario, this particular class will run in system mode, that is without sharing mode. Now when I invoke the same class or call the same class from without sharing, the first one is with sharing, sorry, this one. With sharing keyword, I am with sharing class, I am calling the same class and same method. As I am calling it from with sharing, so the user mode will will be enforced. That is, all the sharing will be enforced for this one. Then Sarah will not able to see the account details. Let's check that one. So now let me click on this inherited without sharing button. So let's see. So ideally she should able to view it. So she able to view the details. So in the backend, if I go to this particular HTML inherited without sharing, I am calling this particular method. If I go to this particular method, what I am invoking this method. This method is nothing but in the same class without sharing call inherited class. So I will go to without sharing call inherited class, and from here I am calling this particular inherited sharing. So as I am calling it from without sharing, so that is the reason the details, I mean the sharing rule is not enforced. Now let me now click on inherited with sharing. Let's see what will happen. Ideally, it should not provide the details of the account. So see, no record to display. Why no record to display? If I go to HTML in handle inherited with sharing, now if I go to this particular class, I am calling this particular method. So if I go to this method, I am calling with sharing scenario call inherited class. So with sharing scenario call inherited class. So I am calling the inherited this sharing class from with sharing. As it is called from with sharing, hence the user mode, I mean the sharing rules are enforced. So that is the difference between with sharing, without sharing, inherited sharing. So I hope that is clear. uh, now now let's see what we mean by um, secure Apex code with user mode. Okay, so let me go to this particular record, this one, and I will change it to Prayoga, and I will remove the access of Sara from this particular record, and I click on save. So now Sara doesn't have access on this particular record. Now let me go to Sara's login. This is Sara's login. So secure Apex code without user mode. If I click on that, so without user mode, I have clicked on without user mode. So though she doesn't have access on this particular record, still she is able to do that one. She is able to view the record. How that is possible? This is not with sharing, without sharing. Don't confuse it with sharing and without sharing. Because in this particular field description, in this particular description also, she doesn't have access. Let me show you that one. So if I go to Sarah's user ID, Sarah's user ID, user detail, and then this profile, and then she has read and edit access on this particular object, but let's check the description. Okay, okay. We don't have access on the description field, but still, in this particular case, I'm able to see the record as well as the field. Now, this because this runs in the user mode and we have not done anything, so that's why. Now if I go to the back end, so this is like handle without user mode, so this is same as the previous one. So I am So get manage sharing record without sharing scenario, and this is the method. So without sharing scenario, and I will go to this one. So as it is without sharing, so the it runs in the user mode, and I got the data, and I'm able to see that in the front end. Now let me refresh this page and click on secure Apex code with user mode. Before that, let me open the inspect. Okay, and console. I will clear it out and I will click on secure Apex code with user mode. See, I got an error message. Why I got an error message? If I expand it, then what it is saying, no such column description C on entity. So entity Apex manage sharing. Though I have access on this particular object, but I don't have access on this particular field. That's why I got this one. Now, how the FLS is maintained, that is where user mode comes into the picture. So if I go to this particular like secure Apex code with user mode function, I'm calling this particular method. This particular method is nothing but without sharing scenario and get. So I will go to this particular class, and this is my, you can check, though it being called without sharing, that is an Apex like it's a system mode. It should have access in all the data and all the fields and object level. But still, in this case, we get this error message, and whatever FLS is not comply with that particular user access, that's why it provides us the error message. So we need to add this with user mode. Then whichever user is running that particular class or particular from the LWC, they are going to request that one, they will not able to access this. So then what is the difference between with sharing, without sharing, inherited sharing, and this particular app user mode? So those are with sharing, without sharing, and inherited sharing used to enforce sharing rule, that is data or record level access. But FLS and object level, they are not going to enforce it. You can use with sharing as well, but that will not enforce FLS and CRUD operation. Data operation, that is SOQL, DML, SOSL, it always run on the system mode by default and have full CRUD access to all object and all fields in general. But now developer have the privilege to select the mode for executing data operation. That is, sharing rule, CRUD and FLS are respected and enforced. How they will able to do that one? They need to add this with user mode in their query, in their SOQL or SOSL. They need to use that one. In case of DML, like if you want to insert it, if you want to update it, you need to mention as user, but a particular user, that you need to mention it. So if you use this one, then FLS, CRUD, and like sharing rule, everything will got respected. So that is a new security level, a enhanced security level that Salesforce is providing the developers to manage that one using with user mode. So that is the difference between user mode, that is data operation, and with sharing, without sharing, and inherited sharing. So this is the one type that you can use. But you can very well use to respect the FLS and CRUD, that is S object describe result, that is like is updatable, is creatable, is deletable, that also you can use. But this is the new feature that you can use easily in your SOQL, and that will respect everything. So yes, that is all for today's session. Hope you got some idea about what is Apex managed sharing, what is with sharing, without sharing, and how you can secure your Apex code with user mode. So thank you for watching this video. Please let me know if you have any question or you want videos in some different topic. Please let me know. I will try to make those videos. Thank you so much.